Rocky Balboa now. She turned back on him, went over to the boxing ring and slid in between the ropes. Then she stood in the center of the ring and looked at him challengingly. I'm open to lessons, if you're brave enough. Martin hesitated. If anyone found him in the ring with an inmate, he'd be fired and thrown out on the spot. But, then again, Nina was irresistible. So feminine with her long blonde hair gathered in a tight ponytail, long neck, and body like an athletic star. She had been imprisoned with her much younger protégée Gabriela for 16 months. After 2 months, where they'd only exchanged innocent remarks, an unexpected and very unwelcome chemistry had arisen between them, and they had used every opportunity for breathless, stolen, and intense forbidden trysts, usually of a sexual nature, or to fight. He looked over his shoulder. This is stupid, Nina. What if someone comes in? The shit would really hit the fan then. Don't you have keys to the door? Yeah, but... The ceiling light gleamed in the sweat on her shoulders. The thin white top clung to her body, highlighting her nipples. She shrugged. So, all talk, Martin. Typical. She walked towards the corner of the ring. With a hot-tempered motion, he pulled off his shirt and looked around for a pair of gloves and a leather helmet. Fuck you, he muttered. Remember your mouth guard, she smiled. He was already angry when he ducked in between the ropes and tightened his boxing gloves with his teeth. Nina hid a smile. Martin was hard to embarrass. His parents had nurtured him with natural confidence. He was fundamentally decent, unambitious in a conventional sense, never assertive or unstable. There was nothing he wanted more than to play guitar and tinker with his motorcycles. He was completely different from the men she had been so tragically attracted to in her former, largely forgotten life. She focused on his broad chest and hands, which automatically slid into the standard block position. The two were almost the same height, but he was naturally far stronger than her. After only 2 minutes, Martin had to face defeat with bitterness, and he had no idea why. He was so much more experienced and technically proficient than she was. His combination of punches was more varied, and he had a longer reach than Nina. But it was as if all that meant nothing. Nina fought as though her life was on the line. Their exchange of punches became harder and more serious with every second. Pearls of sweat adorned their heads like halos when a blow landed with precision. He tried to dominate her with his weight and reach, force her into the corners of the ring, but she slid away from him like wet soap, fainted past him, took the center of the ring like it was named after her, and there was nothing he could do about it. She was as fast as an excited civet cat, always moving, advancing. Martin's ingenious, weighty combinations were parried by her precise jabs and counterpunches. He wiped his nose and saw blood on his glove. Shit. She pointed to his helmet and mimed, I can't hear you, teasingly, which enraged him even more. He got a stitch in his side, which made his lungs wheeze, but her expression was closed and relentless. She looked as though she could keep on going until the sun went down. Then she hit him with an iron-hard hook on his left ear, and the darkness closed in around him and opened again. He moaned, blinked, and found her grey-like, merciless eyes facing him again. Finally, the moment he'd been waiting for, her instinctive weakness, which he had repeatedly pointed out to her. Jabbing with her left hand, she lowered her right block, exposing herself to his left hook. He punched with all his might, but there was no contact. She duped him. It was all a rehearsed trap. She ducked under his left arm, went into a clinch, and the last thing he noticed was Nina's uppercut heading for his unprotected jaw. When Martin came to, he was sitting legs spread in the corner of the ring with his back to the post. He shook his head until the room regained its accustomed shapes, sizes, and colors. Nina helped him stand up, despite his knees giving away a few times. Then she helped him get the leather helmet off and take the bloody mouthguard out of his mouth. He felt as humbled and helpless as a 5-year-old. He looked at her.